People think the most painful thing in life is being poor. But trust me. The real pain is being laughed at by the people who are supposed to love you. Hi. I'm Avery. The girl whose own father mocked her dreams. And accidentally created the fire that would someday burn his pride to ashes. I wasn't born into wealth. I wasn't born into support. I was born in a cramped apartment in Queens, New York. Where dreams don't grow, they suffocate. Where hope feels like a luxury, not a right. Where survival is praised, and ambition is punished. Every night, our hallway smelled like burnt food and tired people. Every morning, I watched my parents drag themselves to jobs they hated. They weren't bad people. Just people who gave up early, then mocked anyone who dared to keep going. I remember sitting at the small kitchen table. Peeling paint, flickering tube light, noise from the upstairs neighbors. And whispering to myself. There has to be more than this, right? But in my house, dreams were dangerous. Dreaming meant you thought you were better than everyone else. And my parents hated that idea. Work. Pay bills. Don't expect anything else. That was their philosophy. But I wanted more. Not money, at first. Just dignity. Just a life where I didn't feel like I was begging the world to notice me. I wanted to build something. To become someone. To prove that a girl like me, with no connections, no safety net, no applause, could rise anyway. But instead of support, I became a joke inside my own home. My dreams weren't seats to them, they were punchlines. And every laugh they threw at me was another brick in the empire I didn't know I was about to build. People think heartbreak comes from love. Mine came from laughter. Not from strangers. But from the people I was supposed to call family. One evening, after months of planning, dreaming, believing in myself when nobody else did, I gathered every ounce of courage inside me. My hands were shaking. My chest felt tight like hope itself was scared to breathe. I sat at our old kitchen table. The one we used for 10 years. The one with a broken leg held up by tape and folded cardboard. The one that heard more arguments than prayers. And I said, softly but bravely, I'm going to start my own business. Silence fell. Not that warm silence where love sits. This was the kind where disappointment tastes like poison. My mom didn't even look up fully. She just scoffed and shook her head. You? Start a business? You're barely passing school. Stop acting like you're special. Her voice didn't cut me. It carved me open. Then my dad leaned back in his chair, pride swelling in his chest like cruelty excited him. He smiled, that mocking, bitter smile. And said, Well, princess, here's your first business fund. He pulled out a check. $100,000. My name printed perfectly. Time froze. Hope punched through my ribs. For 1 second, just one. I believed. I believed. I saw my future flash. My apartment, my laptop, my office, my brand. My life where I didn't feel small and ashamed for dreaming. And then, he laughed. A sharp, mean laugh that felt colder than winter in New York. It's fake. Frame it. That's as close as you'll ever get to success. The room erupted in laughter. My parents laughed like my dreams were entertainment. Like crushing me was a family activity. I didn't laugh. I didn't even blink. I just sat there, quietly drowning. And when the tears came, I ran to my room and buried my face in a pillow. Because even breaking wasn't allowed to make noise in that house. But that night, something inside me didn't break. It ignited. I wiped my tears, looked at my reflection, puffy eyes, shaking lips. And whispered. One day, you will choke on your laughter. That wasn't a wish. That was a promise. The next morning, I walked into the bank. I wasn't chasing money. I was chasing truth. I needed to face the humiliation instead of running from it. The teller took the check, typed for a bit, frowned. Then called the manager. My heart was thumping so loud I could hear it in my ears. Not because I expected anything, but because some part of me feared hope wasn't finished hurting me yet. The manager sat across from me, gentle eyes, steady voice. Avery, the check is real. But your father wrote in the memo, childish joke. You can cash it, if you want. The world tilted. My breath caught in my throat. It wasn't fake. The money existed. But belief didn't. Love didn't. Respect didn't. He didn't want to support me. He wanted to play with my hope. I pushed the check back slowly and whispered. I don't want money from someone who doesn't think I'm capable. And I walked out. My hands trembled. My knees felt weak. But my soul? Steel. Cold and forged in betrayal. I walked out of that bank with $0. But I left with something richer. Dignity. Becoming a fighter, the invisible grind. From that day, life stopped being normal. It became war. 2 jobs. Barista by evening, office cleaner by night. 4 hours of sleep if I got lucky. Some nights only 3. I studied business on library Wi-Fi. Because I couldn't afford internet. I ate whatever cost under $3. Ramen, peanut butter sandwiches, cheap apples. My shoes were ripped. My hands peeled and cracked from scrubbing floors. My eyes stung from crying in subway bathrooms. Whispering to myself that quitting wasn't an option. People watched me struggle. Some laughed. Most ignored me. But that's the thing about chasing dreams. The world doesn't clap when you begin. It claps when you win. No applause. No support. Just me, and a fire that hurt but refused to die. Every sleepless night, every bruise, every tear. Turned into armor. I wasn't becoming successful. I was becoming unbreakable. People think success feels like fireworks. But mine felt like breathing for the first time. After I walked out of that house, something changed in me. Not anger, clarity. I wasn't proving myself to them anymore. I was proving myself to the girl who once cried silently in a subway bathroom. And so I worked harder. I expanded my brand. More products. Better packaging. New suppliers. Late-night planning boards full of sticky notes and dreams. I hired my first employee, then 5, then 20. All women with stories like mine. Girls who had been told to be realistic. Girls who just needed someone to believe in them. I became what I never had. The person who says you can. Orders exploded. We hit our first million in revenue. My mornings smelled like coffee and fresh ambition. Not fear and broken hope. Reporters reached out. Podcast interviews. Magazine features. My face on entrepreneur pages labeled. From nothing to self-made. But the wildest moment? I was invited to speak at a conference. In Manhattan. The same city where I once cleaned office floors at midnight. I stood on that stage, looking at hundreds of faces. And something inside me whispered. This is the life they said you'd never have. I didn't have fancy vocabulary. I didn't pretend to be perfect. I just told my story. And when I finished, a woman walked up to me, tears in her eyes, and said, "Thank you. I thought I was alone." That's when I realized. My dream wasn't just mine anymore. It belonged to every girl who's ever been laughed at. New beginnings. I signed the lease for my first office. In New York City. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Marble desk. A view of the skyline that used to feel like heaven behind glass. Now it was mine. I moved into a Manhattan apartment, not huge, but bright and beautiful. White walls. Big windows. A balcony where dreams didn't feel like secrets anymore. Every night, I made tea, looked at the city lights, and whispered. You did it. Without them. No father. No family support. Just grit. Tears. Faith. Fire. The last confrontation. I wish I could tell you they apologized. But real life isn't a movie. They didn't say sorry. They didn't realize what they lost. They only realized what I gained. One day, I saw my father again by accident, at a local grocery store. He looked older. The arrogance that once made him dangerous had faded into quiet regret. He froze when he saw me. For a second, I saw pride in his eyes. But it wasn't pride for me. It was pride that he once controlled me. He tried to smile. Avery, look at you. We should talk sometime. Not I'm sorry. Not I was wrong. Just entitlement, dressed as concern. I looked at him with calm he didn't recognize, and said, I'm not angry anymore. I just outgrew the place where you left me. He blinked. I walked past him. That was the real closure. No yelling. No proving. Just peace. Because nothing hurts an ego more than seeing the person you tried to break walk away stronger and uninterested. To you, listening right now. Maybe you're where I once was, tired, doubting yourself, trying silently while the world laughs. Listen to me. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Let them roll their eyes. One day, you'll build a life where their opinions don't matter, and their voices don't reach. And on that day, you won't feel revenge. You'll feel freedom. Because the greatest revenge isn't screaming I made it. It's quietly living a life they never believed you could. So keep going. You don't need applause yet. You need faith. And every time you feel small, say this to yourself. I am not done yet. Because you're not. This is only the beginning. Today, I wake up in a Manhattan apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows pouring sunlight over a life I built with my own bruised hands. The skyline isn't just a view. It's a reminder. Of every night I cried quietly. Every shift I worked half asleep. Every insult I swallowed until they turned into fuel. Now, I employ women who once believed they were too broken, too late, or not enough. Because someone like me, someone who was mocked instead of mentored, knows the power of one person believing in you. I write real checks now. Scholarships. Rent support. Business grants. Not because I need to prove anything, but because I remember what it felt like to have hope and hunger but no help. Success, I learned, isn't noise. Revenge isn't a scream. Revenge is quiet. It's showing up when they expected you to disappear. It's shaking hands in rooms they swore you'd never enter. It's them seeing your face in the places they said you'd never belong. And the best part? I don't hate them anymore. I outgrew them. That's the real victory. Because when you finally build the life they laughed at, their voices stop echoing. Their laughter dies in their throats. My father once handed me a joke check and called my dream a fantasy. Today, I sign real checks. And every signature whispers, I made me. To anyone listening right now, they will doubt you. They will try to shrink you. They will laugh. Believing your silence means surrender. Let them. Because a person with nothing to lose isn't weak. They are unstoppable. And when the world laughs at you, don't argue. Don't announce your comeback. Don't chase validation. Just rise. Quietly. Powerfully. And one day, they'll watch you from the ground, while you breathe a life they never believed you could touch. If someone ever underestimated you, this story is yours. Comment I will rise and let your future hear you.